Hello everybody, and welcome back to the final section of this video, the finale. Can you believe it? Today I'm filming this in my living room. Office is a little bit too noisy for this next test. We're going to do a band scan of this radio. And Don, I think when you get this radio back, you too will be quite pleased with the performance of this radio. As you can see, the radio is all... Sorry, I don't have my monitor. I'm looking at the wing on the camera. Radio's all done, all gussied up. Looks a lot better than it did. However, I was not very successful at getting a lot of the paint splatter off the radio. I got some off, not a lot. And what I was finding was with this older pleather was getting in there to clean, it was started to do more damage to the pleather. So I opted to just go gentle and didn't put a lot of elbow work into it. I figured I would rather have paint splatter than rips and tears and scuffs into the pleather. One thing is rather noticeable. You can just barely see it. That's where that big dent in the speaker was, and then down here was the little one, somewhere down up in there. In person, it's just as barely noticeable. You would actually have to look to see it, to find it. This section here is brazing with a little bit of paint and sheetrock mud. I find that kind of strange. So this radio is apparently used in a construction environment or home improvement kind of environment. Radio does look nice, does look better than what it was, but it's still not perfect. I have the aerial all cleaned up. That thing, man, that thing was hideously gross. Got it all cleaned up and lubricated. It had some bends in the couple of top portions of it. I got that worked out pretty good. Not 100%, but a lot better. The antenna lugs, those things now open and close with practically not much work involved. Open those up and put a couple of drops of oil on them, and they work fantastic. So remember, this is the positive side of your antenna, and this is the negative side of your antenna. And again, this lug and this rod is only for shortwave, not for medium wave band. Do apologize, I put it all together before and coming out in the living room here before demoing this on the workbench. I guess I got too excited. It is 12:01 a.m. so just after midnight when I'm filming this. Little tuckered. This here swings about a kc and a half either way. So that works pretty good. I forgot to... Well, let me rephrase that. The volume control, I forgot to get in there and try to tame that down a little bit. It still has some travel at the beginning, and it's not exactly 100% smooth going into the volume up, ramping up portion. So you're probably not going to put this on the side of your bed and try to listen to it too quietly. The switch here, I soldered what I could on the back, and I think that kind of quieted that up just a little bit. but I'm still not 100% convinced that there's not a problem with that. Just like this, there's a definite problem with the volume control, but there's nothing I could do without getting a donor. Well, I guess I could have went ahead and tried to put that resistor on here, but I totally forgot. The handle, unfortunately, the leather broke. As soon as I put some leather cleaner on, this just fell apart like a hot knife going through butter. I just got it sitting on there, resting in the hole so it don't flop all about. This one here also started getting some cracks into it. I emailed Don a few days ago when that all happened, and in the email I told him what had happened, and I made the offer to purchase him a new radio if that's what he would like. The damage happened in my care, and you always return somebody's item in better condition than what it was loaned to you, and it most definitely is the right thing to do. Even though the radio is 54 years old, not properly cared for in those 54 years, still the damage occurred in my possession. So Don, whenever you check your email or respond to this video, the offer is there. We could either find you one exactly like this, either a donor or one to replace it completely, or compensate you somehow for the damage that occurred. Anyway, let's go ahead and shut up and carry on. Now, well, actually, before I shut up, sensitivity on this thing is really awesome. It really is very sensitive. With my signal generator loop antenna about 6 inches away from this radio, I could pick up a signal on AM at about 10 millivolts peak to peak, which means that's about 5 millivolts average. On shortwave, I can get it down to 5 millivolts peak to peak, so about 2.5 millivolts on an average. Now, I probably could have got it lower on AM. I was testing at the bottom of the band, and I was hitting a radio station there. So, some interference. I believe I got it further, but I don't want to say for sure. So, very, very sensitive radio. Because of that sensitivity, it's very sensitive to man-made noise. And this is one reason why I'm shooting out here in my living room today, is because my office is very noisy. We're going to experience some of that noise when we turn this on. Short wave, only off of this antenna. Last night, I did receive a couple of stations on short wave. I did receive 5.0 WWV, and I did receive 2 radio stations, shortwave stations after that, just above that. But that's all I got. So Don, when you hook this up, hook it up to your long wire or your HF antenna and see what you get. But by all means, please understand, the noise level is probably going to be crazy, so hopefully you have a good clean environment, or your antenna is suppressed somehow. We're going to start off on AM radio, and we're going to go to the top of the band. And then, like I said, shortwave is horrible, but what I will do is I will dip down and see if I could get WWV. So Don, when you go to see if you can get WWV 5.0 megahertz, put your dial just on the back side of 9 on your log scale. Your needle is going to touch the back side of 9. That's going to be about WWV. You could also fire up one of your other HF rigs and go to 5 meg and sync it that way. So with that all said and done, I think I've wasted enough time. It's now 8 after midnight. So hopefully we're past all the news and junk like that. So hopefully we get to hear some programming. Hopefully it's good. And let me apologize up front for any bad camera movement I may have. Aim the camera a little bit more that way. Try to get it center, which I guess I should have did at the beginning of this video. So here we go, people. Actually, let me try to get this camera more centered on the scale and not my finger. Apologize for the lighting in here. I know it's not quite as illuminated as my office is, but I'm trying to keep all the noise down as possible. But it looks like you could see it, and maybe in post I will try to lighten this up somewhat. Here we go. Also, the batteries, I don't know how old the batteries are. They're at least 5 months old. Sounds like DX rolling in there a little bit.
I mean, if based on what your doctor said and others have said, you have to have the chain in order, to get there. Right. Genetically, it's a chain.
Yeah, I haven't read that. Now, you may think that double jeopardy should be gone, and it's a bad law because people get away with murder, and if they get away with murder, they get away with a crime, then another jurisdiction should be able to come in order to.
School in a cushy car. No, walk your ass to school.
I would like to say I didn't, but I didn't. I have no relationship to it, but
Starting out was better.
Behind.
Oh, yeah.
He was
The
following
picture
her
is he's
behind.
right
It's not like she, hey, okay, well, go to school.
You seem right from what I do.
Right there should be 660. So I was trying to see if we can get Arizona in.
A couple of seasons ago, and he had played the final 2 seasons of his career with the Angels. He was in a car along with former big leaguer Jose Castillo and former Arizona Diamondback player Carlos Rivero. The 3 of them were playing winter ball in
From a woman with the attire of a harlot and subtle of heart. She's loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house. Now is she without, now in the streets and laughing.
Trying to make sure the volume is not too terribly overmodulated, but yet not too soft.
more vulnerable to developing type 2 diabetes. But again, that vulnerability is only there.
And here's the number that was referring to. According to researchers, this from UNC website here, University.
Remember, in Saudi Arabia there was 9 visas. So, despite the thaw and what we hope were better relations, the kingdom still doesn't permit trade.
Higher mortgage payments. Equity loans have created a new way to protect you from unpredictable interest rates. So you can
Extremely negative spiritual effect.
You can hear it has decent rejection because there's one frequency, one channel, and there's another. So you can see just walking back and forth, it does good rejection.
And not gonna tell you the truth. The problem is this.
want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug-a-Saw. A
That's going to be San Diego, I believe.
NFL matchup with both teams capable of deep dishes, so why are we focused on the defense? And is a playoff perennial headed for the danger zone? Plus, is there a potential NBA Finals preview happening Friday night? Goal and Wingo Friday, 6 Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN2.
I don't think there's anything harder in life than seeing
Tyler Jacksonville, you've got Calvin Smith, Jalen Ramsey, A.J. Boyd, Barry Church. All the defense is still intact, and they didn't lose any coaches. So they had...
definitivamente está fuera de la plática, pero ¿qué es lo que sí puede hacer la Cámara? En tu opinión.
Bueno, en mi opinión podrían llamar
Two Spanish stations right there on each other.
a que hay viniera a explicar todas estas muertes, sobre todo en los últimos años, el número de muertes en la consultoría ha aumentado increíblemente. Ahorita también tenemos el número máximo de gente detenida que nunca antes. Tenemos 44,000 personas detenidas.
5 Marines in the refueler.
Here's Washington.
Japanese ships immediately began
Como
search and rescue
1000.
efforts finding those 2 Marines. The search goes on for the remaining 5. The accident happened on the same day a report was released about the cause of a deadly KC-130 crash.
So that's
last year in
1,000.
Mississippi, which killed 16. The cause of that was found to be poor maintenance.
A scary landing in awful weather in Burbank, California. Southwest plane trying to land in a sweeping rainstorm, appearing to hydroplane on the slick runway, stopping just short of the airport wall with a busy road on the other side. ABC Will Cars in California.
The plane stopping at the end of the runway after hitting. The USNS Comfort left the U.S. on Sunday. I'm Manuel Rueda in Colombia.
Manuel's story was first aired and produced by public radio station WLRN in Miami. We also have photos from on board the Comfort.
Could this be 1010 Canada?
Last week on The World, we told you about a Dutch railway company, the Nederlandse Spoorwegen, or NS for short. The company's trains were used to carry Jews to Nazi death camps. And last week, NS agreed to pay compensation to survivors of the Holocaust and the families of those who died in the camps. One man led that push for the victims. His name is Salo Muller. We really wanted to follow up with him, so we gave him a call.
Why is he listening with me?
I'm Connie.
Connie sat with her husband as he told his story. Salo Muller is a Holocaust survivor. He's well known in the Netherlands as the former physiotherapist.
I think that's 10:30. The Spanish should be out of Mexico, providing this is 10:30.
We're on 24 of these drugs. They were walking zombies. You could not create.
And the English should be out of Wyoming.
What they're doing right now. Because of a capital offense, has all told me the same thing. It was those drugs. And I don't even remember doing it because of the amnesia, the depersonalization that occurred. So I just want to say to the veterans, don't commit suicide. Don't give up. Don't think that there is no hope, because there are doctors that understand this. As a hidden enemy, you are going to have an understanding that it's not you most of the time. It's the drugs acting within you.
Let's take some calls here, Joyce, for you for the time we've got left. Dave in Indianapolis, Indiana, east of the Rockies. Hi, David. Thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Yeah, my son served
Kind of hoping they'd ID. I believe the Spanish is going to be out of Mexico. I get a lot of Mexico in this area of the band.
In some countries.
Moderate wage growth over the next few years, we're actually starting to see how.
Frank Caliendo. Serve with us 3, 4, or even 5 times a day. Calgary's only one.
Calgary.
From the Brooklyn Bridge. Over 1 million people died building the Brooklyn Bridge. Their bones are used as the foundation. That's where the word bona fide comes from. Walt Whitman once said of the Brooklyn Bridge, great place to meet dudes. Jeff Bridges was named after the Brooklyn Bridge. Kurt Bramler. Jeff Foxworthy. Came home not long ago, somebody had colored on the dining room wall. A 3-year-old.
So this is Canada. I'm not sure which.
stable after the trial. D'Angelo, known by nicknames such as the East Rapist and the Golden State Killer, has not entered a plea. The search continues for a man wanted in connection with the murders of a high school student and her mother in Monrovia. Officers conducting a welfare check found the bodies of Cecilia and Kelsey Meza. Kelsey hadn't been to school in days. Deputies are looking for 33-year-old Nimrod Perez Guerrero, who reportedly had an on-again, off-again relationship with the mother. He may be driving a gray 2014 Toyota RAV4 with a California license of 7FPB132. Coming up, it turns out actor-comedian Kevin Hart won't be hosting the Oscars after all. More on that story just ahead. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5s at 12:25. Here's Pete Inarado.
It's definitely slow in Castaic on the northbound 5, and it's all due to Caltrans work between Parker Road to Lake Hughes Road. 3 left lanes are going to be shut down up until
Be out of California.
And if you're heading south on the 5 from Hazlet Canyon to the 126, right lane construction, that lasts until around 6 o'clock. Silmar, the southbound 5 connector, that goes to the 14. It's closed off, got cones set up there for a few more hours. And I'm seeing some slowing into Pasadena, the eastbound 210 connector to the 134 west.
All right, Southern Cal.
Now, in Southgate, if you're traveling north on the 710 between Imperial Highway and Firestone, 2 right lanes are going to be blocked off up until around 4 o'clock. And crews are cleaning up a car fire in Anaheim Hills on the eastbound 91, just past Gypsum Canyon Road. We do have this car fire on the right shoulder.
How could that be 1070 KEX?
Next report at 12:35. I'm Pete Neterado with 4 traffic reports more often. KNX 1070 News Radio.
Sunny and cool today, but it will get warmer over the weekend. For today, partly cloudy skies in the morning, then sunny. Cool. Look for temperatures in the highs in the mid to upper 60s for Friday night, mostly clear. Lows in the upper 40s to mid 50s. And for Saturday, sunny and a little warmer. Highs in the mid 60s to around 70 degrees. Right now, it's 52 degrees at the LA Civic Center, 54 degrees in Chatsworth, also 54 degrees in West Covina at 12.
All right, so now we know we're at 1070. I'm looking at an angle, so not really sure where I'm at.
A better life for your children, so that your country can have the same opportunities as your neighbors, making decisions that favor the people, so everyone can have a better story to tell, understanding that if you don't do it together, it becomes much more difficult. Do it together. Government of Mexico. This winter, take care in the cold. Be sure to wear a jacket, scarf, mittens, and adequate shoes. Avoid abrupt temperature changes. Use several blankets during the night. Don't light bonfires or wood or coal stoves in closed spaces to avoid carbon monoxide poisoning. If you're struggling to keep yourself warm, feel weakness.
I don't know if this is 1090 Portland,
and be sure to take
Oregon,
care of your children,
or where it's at.
elderly, pregnant women, and people with chronic illnesses. Secretary of Health. Government of Mexico. Do you know who Gilberto Rincon Gallardo was? He was a Mexican who worked for equality, democracy, and fought discrimination. The House of Representatives acknowledges citizens and civil organizations and encourage the protection.
Apparently their target audience is Mexico, so I'm not sure where it's transmitting from.
At diputados.gov.mx/precious.html. House of Representatives, 64th Legislature. The legislature of gender parity. San Diego's sports leader, the home of ESPN Radio.
It'll be 1090 San Diego.
Kawhi's like a less is more guy, right?
San Diego, California.
He's extra funny when he does something good like that. He's great.
Well, we were afraid after he did that and he got so much attention we'd never hear from him again. So,
I had a friend who asked me this week, and he had never heard the story, and so I always enjoy sharing that. But December 7th is...
KERN. I think it's going to be Kern County, California, which would be Bakersfield area.
Cheers for holiday chairs at Lazy Boy.
Hey, Travis DeBurse here. I need to tell you about Vancouver Center. Their physicians specialize in car accidents.
It's either Vancouver, Washington, or Canada.
I've been there. I understand that it can take weeks to show symptoms. So reach out today and schedule a free consultation. If you or a loved one has been in a car accident, it's important to call Vancouver Disc Center. In many instances, just a few sessions with our spinal doctor is enough to remove pain caused by auto accidents and other injuries quickly and permanently. Vancouver Disc Center are trusted car accident chiropractors and official doctors.
하나님 앞에 돌아오지 않았고 알코올 중독자로 아직 그 당시에만 해도 저는
Well, we lost that one, and
그때까지도 제가 막 술을 마시고 오면은 토하잖아요.
that sounds like Indian, Eastern Indian. I'm going to have to try to look that one up. Somewhere around the 1200 mark.
Mundial. Enseguida regresamos con Más que Noticias.
Just 17 carries. That's a franchise record. Career-high 4 touchdowns, tying Lorenzo White and Earl Campbell for the most touchdowns in a single game. Jaguars, Mike Vrabel, their coach.
Horses always look great.
It's in the mix. We feed all.
Soldiers returning with traumatic brain injury.
This is St. Joseph's Workshop on Relevant Radio and relevantradio.com. The programming you hear throughout the day on the Relevant Radio Network is sponsored in part by John Paul the Great Catholic University. More info at jpcatholic.edu. We thank them for supporting Relevant.
Okay, so that was really, really good. That was a lot better than it was when I first went through. So now I'm going to switch over to AM, or to shortwave, and I'm going to raise the antenna. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind, the aerial, when you touch it, or the lug, very, very sensitive. You're going to get all kinds of noise in there. So let's do this and then we'll wrap up the video. You hear all that noise. Shortwave. We're just up above 5 megs. Which means hopefully WWV. WWV. Well, I thought I heard WWV. Well, as you heard, a lot of noise. Didn't mean to do a band scan on shortwave, but I figured what the heck, we were there, why not? Not really, but that's what happened. So, that is the General Electric P968 Alpha. Again, this radio belongs to Don. I'm a junk collector. He was kind enough to let me work on it for him, and I appreciate it. These radios are a fantastic radio. I would not hesitate to own one my own self. I do own the AM/FM version of this, which is a fantastic radio. So if you ever get a chance to own one, most definitely do so. Little updating and tweaking and peaking. As you see, they become a phenomenal radio for DXing. One day I will put my up against my other big radios. You know, these radios are not labeled as DX monsters or, you know, anything like that. But I would be interested to see what it does against those radios, those type of radios. I do find it to be an exceptional radio. So definitely would own without hesitation. Oh, wait a minute. I just said I do own one, right? Right. All right. Well, that will wrap up this rather lengthy video. Thanks for sticking with me for as long as you could, as long as you did. And if you haven't already subscribed to Don's channel, there will be a link posted below. Enjoy. Have a good one. Thanks for watching my lengthy video. See you in the next one. El Vita Sane. Ciao. Goodbye.